This is insufferable woke white woman, Joanne O'Brien. She sits on the MS 8011 school board in Maine. She has been actively lying to parents and to the public about these school-based medical clinics. In a moment, you will see in her own words how she tried to rush voting to approve this clinic back in December 5, 2024. Now keep in mind, at the time, they had not seen a contract. They hadn't even seen the very first step of the due diligence, which is a memorandum of understanding, or an MOU. Now, these medical clinics are able to offer all sorts of affirm-only counseling for little children, transgender binders, tuckers, and of course, drugs, all without parental consent. In a second, you will hear a school board member rightly suggest that there should be more time, more opportunities, open forums for parents to ask questions and not to rush something as serious as a medical clinic. Now listen to the way Joanne O'Brien justifies rushing approving this clinic when they had not seen a contract and had not done their due diligence. Insufferable woke white woman, Joanne O'Brien, sits right here.
In view of, all of us on the school board have received, I'm buried in emails. And it's obvious that this is not a complete sell to everyone. You have a great group of people that are for it, but obviously a great group of people that are not for it don't fully understand it. And I think, delaying this another month or even 2 months is not going to hurt anything at all. Get some more discussion out there. Let's hear the presentation tonight and get all, that I do want to hear. But I think it would be in the best interest of selling the product to, so to speak, to wait and not drive it through the night. This is a little faster than it should be. And I think it would be in our best interest, if you want it to work, to give it a little more time.
Can I respond? Can I make a comment? Sure. The more we wait as we're going into flu season, the longer we're going to have to wait for children to have access to care during school time. No?
This won't happen immediately. It'll be I
think the proposal is for it to take effect in 25, 26.
Check out the stupid look on her face. Insufferable woke white woman, Joanne O'Brien, was so desperate to get the school-based medical clinics approved that night that she used the flu season as an excuse. She thought that the clinics would be operational by the end of December 2024 into the beginning of 2025. This is why she talked about rushing for flu season. Then the superintendent corrected her and said, even if we approve it tonight, it wouldn't be operational until the 2025-2026 school year. This insufferable woke white woman, Joanne O'Brien, is in charge of approving something as serious as a school-based medical clinic that can cut parents out of the decision-making process. Now, let's check out insufferable woke white woman, Joanne O'Brien, lying just a few short weeks later that she had never intended to approve the medical clinic on December 5th, and it was always to review the MOU. Now, keep in mind that the only reason why on December 5th they punted to say they'll review the MOU is because of all the heat that all of you brought on them. Remember, they snuck this agenda item in on Thanksgiving Eve, and then they met on December 5th hoping nobody would be paying attention. But you all did, and they had to punt it because of the heat. Let's check out insufferable woke white woman, Joanne O'Brien, lying in her own words. As you can see here, on January 28, 2025, the board finally got a draft of the MOU to review, and insufferable woke white woman Joanne O'Brien tried to do a little revisionist history by saying we won't be intimidated by hate groups wanting to squash a school-based health clinic in our high school before we even had a chance to review a draft of the MOU. Now, we just heard her try to justify rushing the approval of this very same clinic on December 5th. The only reason why they punted back then is because of all the heat that you put on them. The other lie here is she's saying that the clinic's only in high school, but in fact, the clinic would serve kindergarten through high school. Of course, I had to call her out and say, you literally just admitted that you're only seeing an MOU tonight, January 28th, but you were ready to approve the medical clinic on December 5th, as we all heard. Insufferable woke white woman Joanne O'Brien really is one of the most ignorant degenerate in Maine education, and a great example of why education is in the state it's in. Let's see what she had to say after being called out on her lie. Insufferable woke white woman Joanne O'Brien said, we gave the go-ahead for the next step to have a MOU created and reviewed by our lawyers. We all heard her justify rushing that medical clinic because of flu season. Now, she says tonight, meaning January 28, 2025, we had a chance to review the MOU and ask questions. When she says we, she means the board. And despite Maine parents asking for an open session to review the MOU and ask questions, the board reviewed the MOU behind closed doors, further showing that this board is corrupt. They have no transparency. And you have someone like insufferable woke white woman Joanne O'Brien sitting on the board who is so ignorant that she didn't even know that the clinic wouldn't be operational this year. That is how badly insufferable woke white woman Joanne O'Brien wants to get a school-based medical clinic installed so that the schools can further push transgender ideology, provide transgender treatments, and cut parents out of the decision-making process. Because insufferable woke white woman Joanne O'Brien genuinely believes that parents are unsafe and abusive if those parents do not agree that their child's born in the wrong body. So this brings us to February 6, 2025, where this corrupt school board, yet again, is trying to quietly sneak in a vote to install this school-based medical clinic. Now, how do we know that they were trying to sneak it in? Check out where this vote shows up on their agenda. Old business, as if it's just an afterthought. Something as serious as installing a medical clinic on school grounds where they can cut out parental approval and consent. They buried it under old business. They were hoping that all of you would stop paying attention and that they can quietly install this clinic. Exactly what they wanted to do on December 5th. Unfortunately for them, that didn't happen. You all did pay attention. You brought them a ton more heat. And yet again, on February 5th, the day before they were scheduled to vote, they postponed the meeting, essentially postponing the vote, and then once again blaming it on not having enough time to review the MOU. They didn't even have a draft on December 5th, and you clearly saw Joanne O'Brien was fully ready to approve it that night. We hope that this gives every parent encouragement, whether you live in Maine, whether you live in another state, that your action, your voice, and you fighting back to protect your kids from these dishonest, corrupt school board members, school staff, teachers, and school counselors truly does make a difference. These people are a mile wide and an inch deep. They have been so accustomed to being protected by the system. They have been so accustomed to having no accountability that they don't know what to do when parents like you all push back. So ensure that you never take your eye off what they're doing. Always hold them accountable. And don't ever let these people tell you that they know better than you. I assure you, they absolutely do not. Make courage your habit, and remember, if you do not stand up for your children today, they will live on their knees tomorrow.